Okay, so we dealt with constraints on generic types comparable. It ensured that whatever type we had were comparable. So we created custom Lamborghini or Lamborghini or whatever. They were made sure they were comparable. This ensures that these are numeric, whether it's int, double, float. These make sure that you can compare these, see if they're equal, whether they're a string or integer. Created a custom one, ensures that we can multiply. Okay. So here's what we're gonna do. Protocol. And again, you guys have to play with this. Okay. Yeah. Oh, multipliable. Whatever. No, it's not how you spell it, but so we have this, and so now we're going to it's a static func. This is the name of our function. This is the parameters. And this is the signature, and now we're going to implement this on the two types that we're going to use it for. Integer, double, and float, three types. Okay, so we're doing these. So now what we're going to do is we're going to create a function that implements this generic and the constraint. So func custom multiply, and I'm going to say x. And of course, it's going to be a type t, and then we're going to y that is of type t, and return something that is of type t. Okay. Return x times y, right? And of course, we have to make sure that that is the generic type and it is of type multipliable. And now let's call it custom multiply 2 times 3. 6. Okay, 2.215 times 1213. And that's the yes. Okay. So as you see, we have it int, double, and float. So now we have this custom constraint. Let's go over here and we're going to talk about using a generics for the protocol, and have it as the protocol definition, then implementing that protocol and passing a generic type. So what I'm going to do is we're going to create a protocol, apply it to a struct, and then we'll have methods that will allow us to use those objects as long as they conform to the protocol, right? I'm gonna give you an example. So we're going to deal with Maseratis protocol. So hold on. These are things you guys are gonna have to do in the real world, right? Okay. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna have a bunch of Maseratis. We're gonna store them, okay, in another object. Okay. So let's see, we're gonna have an object. We're gonna call this car storage. Hold on. What I'm gonna do though is let me make an enum first. Okay. We're gonna store again Maseratis. And I'm doing this just for the sake of brevity, to make it go faster. Greg Hale, this is a type of Maserati. MC20, the type of Maserati. The Ghibli, probably not saying that right. Type of Maserati. Gran Turismo case. Gran Tourismo. Gran Turismo. Levante. Okay, so all these are types of Maserati, right? And I'm going to have a protocol for car storage. So when I apply this to an object, it will be to it'll have methods that will implement that will store Maseratis, right? Or not just Maseratis, anything that conforms to um, the protocols. I'll show you what I'm talking about. So we're gonna have an associated type. Or Jesus, I hate when it does that. And then because I'm going to be using a struct, it has to be a mutating func, right? If you're going to affect class properties or object properties in a struct, you have to have it mutating. That's going to be an object called car. We haven't got there yet. Don't worry. But it's right here. It is the associated type car. This is our generic right here, our generic type. Okay, that's what's going to be called. And it's something that the object must have in order to implement this protocol. This is index, which is nothing going to be but an int. This will be the index of an array that helps you access a particular object. Okay. So now let's have a struct for Maserati, and I'm gonna make this very simple. Struct for Maserati, and this is gonna be make. Of course, the make is always Maserati, right? Okay, and then the model is looks like. All right, and that's it. We're gonna keep it super simple. And now we're gonna have a struct called garage, right? And it will have a generic type of car, right? Okay. And it will implement the car storage protocol, right? And as it implements the car storage protocol, we will see this. All right. Now it conforms. Okay, but we also have to have a array of cars. This is an array of car. Okay, so now that I'm here, mutating func cars dot append no choose car. Okay, and then retrieve. I want to check to make sure that all of this, that the actual index actually exists. Index 0 index. Return. And the index, right? So that means if the index we pass is out of range, we return nil. Otherwise, we return the index of the car. That's the functions for the garage. All right. So now let's go ahead and um go ahead and create an object of garage. Equal garage. Right. There we go. We have a garage and we have to pass a type for our generic type. Car is just a placeholder, right? Car is just a placeholder, just like right here, associated type car. So it's like this associated type is just a placeholder. Okay. So now we're going to do this car of type Maserati. You know, is this confusing you? You guys need to go back. You need to play with this. Garage dot park. I'm gonna create a Maserati, right? The model Ghibli. Okay. Garage dot park Maserati model Gran Turismo. Right. Garage dot park Maserati model dot MC20. Right. Now, if we want to see what kind of cars we have, garage dot cars. Should Ghibli Gran Turismo MC20. You know, if we want to access one in particular, right? Garage dot uh, retrieve. I'm gonna say one dot model. Gran Turismo, the second one in there. So again, this is how you denote a generic in a protocol because you can't do this, right? You can't do this up there, uh, car or whatever. Can't do that. You have to note it down here, associated type, and then it's implemented in whatever struct or object that you use. Um, also like to say that there is a I'm trying to remember type alias. Give me a second. When you do type alias, so car, you can also say this. If I were to come here and make this of type T, this of type T, this is not conform to, and this would say T car, and now I can use car again. So type alias is just how to tie this back to car. Okay. So this ties to this, right? That's all it does. But since since I didn't want to do that, I just made this car and we don't need a type alias. So if that's confusing, play around with it. But these are the concepts that we kind of have to become familiar with. So yeah, that's it for what we're gonna cover in generics. There's a lot more to generics though, and I'm gonna do a lesson on uh, API calls and parsing JSON responses and models and codable, decodable generics come in place, come into use when I do that. So yeah, but these are the basics of generics. Again, mess around, play with them because all this stuff is gonna come in handy, and you will be asked this type of stuff on technical interviews. These are the basics. You can't be senior level without it. So on to the next.